Here is my recap for Dexter, New Blood, Season 1, Episode 3. One thing I forgot to mention in my last recap was that there was a scene in that last episode where Angela, who is Dexter's girlfriend, had an argument with her daughter Audrey. And they were arguing. She's talking about all these girls who are going missing, and Angela doesn't want her daughter to become one of those missing girls. And that's when Audrey said, I'm not Iris. And that was all we heard was the name Iris. And it wasn't talked about again at all. And in fact, in this episode, Episode 3, they don't talk about Iris at all, which was kind of surprising. We don't get to see what happens with Iris at all, or who Iris is in that episode. We do in Episode 4, which I will be recapping as well, but we're going to focus on Episode 3 today. This episode all revolves around Dexter trying to not get caught. He's got the body of the guy that he killed, Kurt Caldwell's son. He's got his son buried kind of on his property, and they're sending out dogs and everything to go look for him. And they have an eye. They're thinking of looking at places as to where Kurt's son might have gone, where Matt might be. They lead you out to these caves. Basically, his girlfriend talks about all these different places in which Matt could have fled to. And they're going to be checking all these places. And they want to look for blood and other things to find out if he's dead or if he's still alive. So at this point, they believe he still, killed this deer and took off. And Dexter, this whole episode, is trying to stay one step ahead of the cops and them finding out who he is. And he's real nervous about getting caught. Well, he doesn't get caught, and he is able to take care of the body. In fact, in the final scene of this episode, we've got Dexter who takes the body and cremates it. There's this, looks like a factory where you can throw stuff into this fire, and it cremates the body. So he does finally get rid of the body, so they can't lead it back to him. That's kind of what the episode revolved around. But we've also got the deal with Dexter's son, Harrison. In this episode, you start finding out that he's kind of a smart, intelligent individual. And there is a kid who is bullied on the campus, and Harrison goes to bat for this guy and kind of bucks against the popular people in school, the people who hangs around with Audrey. She hangs around with all the football players and everything. Harrison ends up ridiculing these individuals and helping this boy out who is kind of a nerd. At the end of the episode, though, you find out that this kid is very thankful for Harrison and shows him kind of his notepad on how he has this vision of, shooting up the school and killing all of those people who have ridiculed him for all of these years. And we're going to see where that leads in the 4th episode. But there's a big reveal at the end of this episode when Kurt Caldwell actually doesn't call up Dexter. Dexter is actually driving home after dropping the body off of Kurt's son. And as he's driving home, he sees Kurt Caldwell coming out of a bar, and he's all drunk. So he picks Kurt up and kind of asks him what's going on. And he says, well, I'm celebrating my son. My son is back. He's alive. And Dexter kind of does a double take at that because he knows he's not alive. He just got rid of his body. He knows he's dead. And he's kind of curious as to why Kurt is saying this and what the purpose is. And that, I have my ideas. And in fact, what I believe is I think he's going to be the one who's actually taking the girls. And I believe he's doing this to get the police not to go looking everywhere they were going to look because they're going to find out where he's keeping these girls. And so we're going to see where this leads in Episode 4. There's quite a bit that happens in Episode 4 with Harrison and also these girls who have gone missing. And I'll talk about that on my next recap. But this was my recap for Dexter, New Blood, Season 1, Episode 3, which is called Smoke Signals. I'll recap the next episode shortly.